Weston. I love talking about the Rangers, and I'm here to recap Game 36 of the regular season. Rangers over the Sabres, 3-2 in overtime. Mika Zibanejad with the overtime winner. And let's get right into it. Igor Shesterkin gets the start in the first period. 17:54 left in the period. There starts to be madness in front of the Rangers' net. There's a shot on goal, a very good shot by Buffalo. It's stopped by Igor Shesterkin. The rebound is also stopped by Igor Shesterkin. And the rebound of the rebound just kind of sits there in the blue paint for a minute, and Julien Gauthier tries to help by just sort of jumping on it. But here's the thing, it didn't help because, ice is slippery. I don't know if you know that. So he just kind of slides into the net, kind of on top like a mother chicken over the puck as he just slides in. And it's 1-0 Sabres almost immediately in this game. Much later in the first period I have it written at 6:58. It might be a little earlier, later, what have you, left in the period. Buffalo goes in on a 1-on-3. That's right, a 1-on-3. Not a 3-on-1. 1 Sabre, 3 Rangers. And all 3 Rangers forget in that moment how positioning works and leave Taylor Hall to enter the zone pretty much free of any space. I think it was Panarin or Trouba that tries to get back in position. No one can. He gets a great shot on Shesterkin, but he stops it by sliding all the way over with his right pad to make a great save. A little bit later on, 2:26 left in the period, Delan shoves Philip DiGiuseppe into the net to where it knocks it off its moorings. But that was not the penalty on the play. It should have been. The officiating was awful, by the way. And there was some awful calls missed for the Sabres and awful calls missed on the Rangers. Like, both teams got screwed, and both teams were allowed to just sort of play. It was very, very bad officiating tonight, where even Sam Rosen was caught at some points being like, yeah, this is kind of rough. That was not the penalty. The penalty was on Middlestead, hopefully I'm saying that right, for roughing, because he just absolutely blew up Colin Blackwell on the play. He just, super late hit, just blew him up. The hit was like... It was so bad it knocked him out of the offensive zone. So we get a power play, and man, like, I know our power play's bad, right? Because I intently watch every game, and I think a lot of people do. We're watching the games, like, we know our power play's bad. We don't have that misnotion going into the game that our power play's good or anything. But oh, good God, that power play was particularly awful. It was one of the worst power plays of the season. It was just bad. It was terrible. We couldn't pass. We couldn't do anything on it. It was insane. So that happens. And then at 3 seconds left, I wonder if 3 seconds will come into play again in this game. Philip DiGiuseppe, out of frustration for, not getting a penalty drawn against him when he got shoved into the net, just breaks a stick. Just breaks a Sabre stick. I think it was Middlestead. Just destroys a stick, and it's like, that's a penalty, man. That's a penalty. You can't do that. That's against the rules. You can't slash your stick because that's slashing. So, we're already down 1-0, and now we give them another power play going into the second period. So after the first, we looked meh. We were awful. We were mediocre. It was weird. It looked like we went into the game with the mentality of, it's Buffalo. It's Buffalo. We're not going to lose to Buffalo of all teams. But here's the thing. The worst NHL team is going to smoke the best AHL team. Because the best AHL player might not work in the next level. Like, I understand Buffalo's bad. They are a meme. They lost 18 in a row. I understand those things. They're still a very good team when you look at, the rest of the world. No NHL team, which is basically the highest level. There might be like some European level that someone might say, well, there's anything higher. I don't care. They're the highest level of hockey in the world. Like, you can't just expect a team to lie down. And we looked awful in that first period. On to the second period. About 13:13 left in the period. Jeff Skinner. My God. He gets a breakaway, and I think it was, like, God, I don't know who it was. He gets a breakaway, but one of the Rangers just sort of grabbed his stick. And so he goes on this breakaway. He has no stick. He's just going, and he's like, well, what am I supposed to do with this? I don't have a stick. And you could see in real time the thoughts go through his mind of, well, I'm going to get a penalty, right? They're going to call a penalty. They're not calling a penalty? But I don't have stick. I don't have stick, and I can't kick it in the net. Maybe if I angle my feet right now, I just got to kick it to a teammate, and then that was it. It was... Oh, I laughed so hard. If you haven't seen it, you can find it easily. It was the greatest moment of the game, bar none. And then off of that, and again, this is a moment the Rangers got very lucky. That should have been a penalty. That was 100% slashing, grabbing the stick, whatever you want to call it. That was a penalty on the Rangers that they missed. And then right after it, 13-20, Strome and Blackwell go in on a 2-on-1. Strome passes it over to Blackwell. Blackwell takes a shot. It doesn't go in. The rebound sends it over to the left boards of the goaltender, where Artemi Panarin gets it, looks around, sees, oh, look, Blackwell's open again, passes it over to him with a great pass. Blackwell one-timer, ties it. 1-1. It's tied with still about half the game left to go. Much later in the period, 5:05, Ryan Strome makes this great move to start to get a breakaway, just a little bit of one, and then he gets tripped, and the Rangers get a power play. Should have been a penalty shot. Again, the officiating was terrible. And we get a power play, but guess what? Knock, knock, our power play is comically bad, so we do nothing with it. And after a wretched first period where we looked dead, we looked like dead men walking, or skating if you want to go that direction, we outshoot the Sabres 14-2 in the second period, which is madness. We dominate the play, and I'm like, all right, I think we can win this game. I think we're going to. So in the third period, 13:43 left in the period, madness starts in front of the Sabres zone. The puck was right next to the net on the goalie's left side, and Julien Gauthier just keeps poking at it and poking at it and poking at it and working for it, gets it free. I think he gets a little bit of a shot off, and then it gets over to Philip Hedl, who just puts it in. Rangers lead 2-1. And I'm like, okay, that's what we needed. We're good. We're good from here. Later on, about a little over a minute later, 12:21, the Sabres take a holding call, so the Rangers get another power play. That's neat. We do nothing with it because, again, our power play is horrible. Later on, Fogardine on the Sabres just absolutely just sweeps the legs of Igor Shesterkin. I thought he might have been injured. The announcers thought he might have been injured, but I was horrified because he just got back from injury. He wasn't. He stayed in the game. But he totally took Shesterkin out. Rangers would get their fourth power play out of that, and they would do nothing with it because our power play is awful. Our power play is like if Bootyism was a power play. It's like we don't do anything. So that happens, and then 3 seconds left. 3 seconds, which is that much time. That much time is all we would have needed. 3 seconds, Rangers. 3.6 to be exact. Igor Shesterkin gets screened. This is after the Sabres win a face-off in our zone. Shesterkin gets screened. There's two guys in front of him. He physically cannot see the puck. It goes right on past him. He didn't even get into the butterfly. And it's tied with, again, that long left. 3 seconds, people. And we go into overtime. Because, of course, we do. Even though, in the game to this point, we outshot them 46-22. 46-22. We were out shooting. I want to cry. So, into overtime. The first few minutes of overtime, like the first minute, we dominated pretty well. And I'm like, all right, Rangers, you got your foot on the throat. They can't get their skaters off. All you got to do is keep pressuring them in their zone. All you got to do is keep, why are you letting them do a line change? I don't get why you would do that. I genuinely don't. It makes no sense. But neither team, for the first minute, 30 seconds, for the first 4 minutes and 30 seconds, had a shot. Like, no one looked good, right? It was no scoring opportunities, nothing, right? Buffalo did have a shot between then. But what I meant to say was they didn't have a good scoring opportunity. It was just bad. It looked like neither team wanted to score until about 30 seconds left in the period. Mika Zibanejad starts working on the boards, and then he and Fox both help force this great offensive or defensive turnover. So then it is Panarin and Mika Zibanejad going in on a 2-on-1, which, I mean, you can't pick a better duo on the Rangers to go in on a 2-on-1. You can't. Like, in your dreams, in your wildest dreams, when you're thinking about overtime, you hope and pray that somehow your two best players on your entire roster can somehow get space together. Panarin, who is one of the best players in the league, and Mika Zibanejad, who's one of the best players on the Rangers. 2-on-1, breakaway, Mika to Panarin, Panarin back to Mika Zibanejad, who buries it. and who to that point I was thinking to myself, he's been kind of quiet tonight. I would like to see him get at least an assist, and he doesn't get the assist. He gets the whole goal in overtime for the win. Rangers win 3-2, and we avoid becoming a meme like the Philadelphia Flyers did last night because they cannot escape being memes. And the last I checked, or the last I heard, Boston was losing to the Penguins, which can help our playoff race. And let me check that really quickly. They lost 4-1. All right, so that means, as the standing is updated, we are 3 points behind Boston. All right, we are closing in. We can get that 4th spot. So, goals tonight were by Colin Blackwell, Filipino, and Mika Zibanejad, and the assists were 2 for Artemi Panarin, 1 for Ryan Strome, who has tied the franchise record for most consecutive games with an assist by a forward at 10. Julien Gauthier had 1, Alexis Lafreniere had 1, and Igor Shesterkin, I believe, I want to get this right, I believe he was 21 of 23. So a pretty good night by Igor Shesterkin, aside from that 1 goal at the end, which, I mean, he was getting screened on. So, that's it. We play the Sabres again Saturday at 7. It's 10 o'clock. I feel very tired, and now I have to go watch a baseball game. But I'm super excited because it's opening day. Can you guys believe it? It's awesome. Anyway, that's all I have to say. Thank you all so very much for watching. I hope you all have an absolutely fantastic day. And as always, go Rangers.